Hello students, welcome to the 53rd session of Wide Sargasso Sea. Here in this session, we will learn a little bit about the minor characters that we come across in the novel, as we have already learnt about the major characters. The first minor character that we have to think about is Amélie. Amélie is a young half-caste servant who accompanies Antoinette and her husband to Grandbois. The lovely and cunning Amélie snickers at her newlywed employers with a sort of knowing contempt, using her thinly veiled amusement to unsettle them. When Antoinette slaps Amélie for an impudent comment, Amélie slaps Antoinette back, calling her a white cockroach and smiling suggestively at her husband. Later, Amélie feeds and comforts Antoinette's husband, then sleeps with him. When he offers Amélie a gift of money the following morning, she refuses it and announces that she is going to leave Massacre and go to Rio, where she will find rich, generous men. The next minor character is that of Sandy Cosway. Now, Sandy Cosway is one of Alexander Cosway's bastard children. Sandy helps his father and her half-sister Antoinette when she is harassed on her way to school. Although Antoinette would like to call him Cousin Sandy, Mr. Mason scolds her for acknowledging her black relatives. According to Daniel Cosway, Sandy is more handsome than any white man and is well received by polite white society. Daniel also suggests that Sandy and Antoinette were sexually involved as young children. Indeed, Antoinette's fragmented memory of a goodbye kiss with Sandy supports this possibility that the two may have been intimate at some point. Another important minor character is that of Daniel Cosway. Daniel Cosway is another of Alexander Cosway's bastard children. Daniel writes a letter to Rochester that informs him of the madness that runs in the Antoinette family. He also asks Mr. Rochester to pay him certain amount so that he can keep this as a secret. The half-white, half-black Daniel is a racially split counterpart to the culturally split Antoinette. The next important minor character is of Richard Mason. Mr. Mason's son by his first marriage, after studying for several years in the Barbados, Richard moves to the Spanish town, where he negotiates Antoinette's marriage arrangements after his father's death. He persuades the nameless English gentleman to marry his stepsister, offering him £30,000 and rights over the girl's inheritance. Later, Richard visits the couple in England and hardly recognizes Antoinette as the mad woman locked in the attic. She flies at him in delusional rage, cutting him with a secretly obtained knife. Another minor character, but who also plays a major part in Antoinette's psychological mindset, happens to be Tia. Tia is Maillet's daughter and Antoinette's only childhood friend. At the water pool, Tia betrays Antoinette by taking her pennies and stealing her clothes. Tia's disloyalty manifests the allure and corrupting power of money in the text. Like Mr. Mason and Mr. Rochester, she appears to covet money more than a loving relationship, whether it be a childhood friendship or a marriage. Another minor character happens to be that of Pierre, Antoinette's mentally and physically disabled young brother. While not explicitly stated, it is suggested that Pierre's illness is a result of inbreeding and physical decline in the Cosway family. When the house at Colibri is set on fire, Pierre is trapped in his burning room for some time and he dies soon after that. Next minor character is that of Mr. Luttrell. one of Annette Cosway's only friends after the death of her husband. Mr. Luttrell lives at Nelson's Rest, the estate that neighbors the Cosway home. Suffering financial hardship in the wake of Emancipation Act, in sudden desperation, he shoots his dog and swims out to the sea, never to be seen again. Distant relatives finally reclaim Luttrell's abandoned estate. Next minor character is that of Baptiste. One of the servants of Granbois, the overseer of the mansion, Baptiste is a dignified man of advanced age, one of the very rare and a few characters that we find across the novel who happens to be dignified. Next important minor character is that of Godfrey, one of the old Cosway servants who stays on after the master's death. Godfrey is considered a greedy and untrustworthy rascal, at least in Annette's view. He makes constant allusions to death and damnation. Next important minor character is that of Grace Poole, a woman who answers to an advertisement placed by Mrs. F for a servant to look after the deranged Antoinette. Grace is promised twice as much as the other household servants as long as she keeps her mouth shut and guards Antoinette well. Sharing the same garret space with Antoinette, Grace drinks frequently, often falling asleep with the garret key in plain view of her captor and charge. Next important minor character is that of Mother Saint Justine. Mother Saint Justine is the head instructor at the convent school. Mother Saint Justine tells the girls about the lives of female saints, instructs them on manners and cleanliness, and teaches them how to be proper Christian ladies. She happens to be one of the motherly figures which Antoinette finds for herself after her aunt Cora. Now students, these were the important minor characters paired along with the major important characters. If you happen to go through the novel and if you learn these characters, I am pretty sure you will have a very clear picture of each and every character that is represented in the novel. Thank you.